I've come to the conclusion that Nakaba-sensei is not a big fan of King, or is very twisted and loves torturing King throughout this entire series, like Ashita does to Kaneki Kin. Because if we take a really good look at our characters, our sins, our main 7 characters, or, our main 6, since, Escanor is not really fully integrated into the actual manga, King has gotten the most flack, or the most shit done to him in his life throughout this series. Like, every different chapter, I'm looking at as if more shit is going to happen to King. Like, the end of this chapter is more bitch slapping to King. Like, King, the very chance, like, the romance between Diane and him just got, like, thrown out the window. Now, it's, like I said, it feels like Nakaba-sensei has something against King. Like, did Nakaba-sensei reveal that he hates King? Is it because King won the character popularity pool? Is that why Nakaba-sensei's trolling him even more? Like, what the fuck is with this? Like, and now, don't get me wrong, the chapter's good, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's just like, what's with poor King getting screwed over through the entire series? Like, he kills his best friend, now his best friend's kind of haunting him through his helmet. I mean, all the different things that happen with Bond, to his sister, to what happened in the earlier parts of the series. I mean, the fairy forest being burnt down, the fairies wanting to cast him aside out of the fairy forest. I mean, look at all the shit that has happened to King. And it continues to happen. Like, Nakaba, give King a break. He needs a break sometimes. Damn, man, let this boy have his happiness. Like, fuck, dude. It's not right, man. It's not right. Let him have his happiness with Diane. It needs to happen. It really does. Because when I saw the ending, I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this to me, Nakaba. Like, don't do this. Like, don't. I know Diane took a hammer to the fucking face, and if you think about it in logical sense, thank God Taizai's using logic, she got hit in the face by a giant-ass hammer, okay? Of course that's gonna cause some brain trauma. I mean, if you got hit by a hammer to the face, like what happened to Diane, or like, oh my god, what we saw, Gollum just grabbed the fucking hammer, slammed it in her face, and I mean, yeah, it looked brutal. And if you were to get hit by something like that, you'd probably either A, be dead, or B, you're probably gonna have some brain trauma, or you're not gonna ever be the same, one or the other. Now, I do have hope that Diane will return. It's very obvious eventually she will return, because we do have Gowther. Gowther is there, and we do know he can use memory manipulation, and I wonder if Gowther can kind of unlock Diane's memories, get inside of her head, and go into these memories and unlock it to where she can remember, since she has amnesia at the moment. Hopefully he can do something like that, because, Gowther can alter memories. Now, from what we could see from this chapter, besides King being shitted on him and Diane having amnesia, the Sins need a power-up. They need a power-up, and that is what Meliodas says in this chapter. He's like, hey, we need to get stronger, because we're getting our face knocked in. We're getting our shit knocked in by these 10 Commandments. Like, we can't stand a fucking chance against them. We're getting crushed. So they need a power-up, and I'm kind of happy how Nakaba-sensei decided not to go do the ring around when it came to the power-up. For instance, Nakaba-sensei just had straight out flat into this chapter like, oh, we're gonna get a power-up. That's what was said. Now, English translation, Japanese, it can deviate, it can be completely different, but I'm willing to bet it has, like, similar meaning. So for Nakaba-sensei to even say that, that takes some incredible balls. To just even admit that the characters are trying to get a power-up or something. That takes some balls. So, based Nakaba. Anyways, getting back on topic, okay? The thing is that's the main things that's obvious when it comes to this chapter, besides Escanor, too. Like, they're going to be questing after Escanor, which, hype, Escanor, hype. Come on, man. If you haven't read that side story yet, go fucking read it. Go read that side story. If you have not read that side story, I don't know what to say. Escanor is the meaning of hype. It is character. Damn, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Escanor is. So yeah, since finally going on the quest to get Escanor, it's revealed that he is alive. Like, he is definitely alive, and Meliodas knows. So, is it the fan theory is going to prove to be true? is Hawk Escanor. I mean, I've seen Furies like this run around, and I have one time and point, I actually said that too in a chapter review. So, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, is Hawk Escanor? It'd be pretty funny because, you know, Hawk is prideful. If you think about it, Hawk is prideful. So, if that turns out to be true, that's going to be epic. That will. But we'll have to see where that goes. So, let's get into the other subtle details when it comes to this chapter, shall we? So, Merlin has the ability to move her soul into other objects. Or this, like, Armaments or whatever it's called. It's a little spear, okay? It's like an arcane orb spear thing. And Merlin moved her soul into that before she turned completely into stone. Now, of course, Merlin, from what I can understand, like, from my understanding from the dialogue, is that she can still use her magic. I'm guessing that's what she said, so... shocking. You'd think she would have some form of, you know, weakness or, I guess, a handicap. That's what I was looking for. She would have a handicap being in a different body. But she doesn't. Anyways, the thing was, okay, so Merlin can move her soul into other things. This raises the question. This raises a big question. Since Merlin has the power to do this, can she, in fact, move other people into other bodies? See, I saw an interesting theory when Estarossa was introduced. You know, the Ten Commandments, when all their faces were kind of revealed. I remember a theory in the comments from a Chibi that made a very interesting theory. And this ain't my theory. I just want to mention it. I remember in the comments, a Chibi mentioned that, what if, just what if, Estarossa is actually Meliodas' original body? Hear me out, okay? Esterossa's face is on a wanted poster, and there's a lot of theories and questions like, why would the wanted poster have Estarossa on the picture, and when Meliodas is younger looking? Like, how could you mistaken that? Like, you can't. And it's very strange. So, if you start thinking about it, from what the Chibi said was, what if Estarossa was actually one time or point inside of Meliodas' current body? What if Estarossa was in one time or point in Meliodas' current body? Like, you know, Meliodas' little child form? What if Esterossa's original body was that, and Meliodas' body was Esterossa's body? It would explain the wanted poster, but it goes a step further, I want to explain. With the introduction of Merlin's soul transfer, it kind of backs up this theory just a little bit. Now, it's not explained if Merlin can move others, like other people's souls and other things. It's not dived into or explained, so that's up in the air. We have no fucking idea. All we know is it could just be Merlin's magic ability just to move her soul into other things. So, we don't know. But still, this brings up a very interesting concept. So, the concept of souls transferring to another body, or another item or object is there. So, it might be possible that Meliodas' original body was Esterossa's body. That's a theory. It's just a theory, and it could be obviously wrong, but I just wanted to mention that. So, that's the little concept I saw in this episode that raises a couple of questions. Now, we also come to find out that Bon is not that strong on the Sin leaderboards. Like, he's not. Now, I have the leaderboards right here, actually. I wanted to... Oh, messed it up. I have the leaderboards right here, and I wanted to be able to say them right. So, going from the top of the panels downward, the Captain Meliodas is 3,370. Diane is 3,250. Gowther is 3,100. And Merlin is 4,710, fucking OP, by the way. King is 4,190, OP as also. And Bon has a power level of 3,220. Now, looking at this scale, Merlin is the top, the second place is King. Now, Merlin, damn, she's a powerhouse. And then King, yeah, he bossed that Albion monster. Bon, though, shocked me. His power level is 3,220, and it's lower, like, than majority of all the Sins. It is. Like, he is lower than everybody besides Gowther. And Gowther is not really a physical fighter. Gowther is a person that uses range and mind manipulation. We know this. So, it's very weird how Bon is one of the weaker Sins. I'm really honestly surprised about that. I really am. So, quite shocking, to say the least. I didn't expect to see Bon's power level to be that low, and even under Diane, so. But we have to also factor in Bond does steal abilities, though. He does have his ability to steal physical hunt. You know, he steals people's physical abilities and traits. So, I don't think that, you know, power level actually factors in that. Because if we go back to the flashback of Edinburgh, he stole Diana King's physical strength, sapped it out, and did push-ups. So you can assume that his power level does go up if he does that. So I don't even think that this power level of 3,220 is actually accurate, so to say the least. So that's my 2 cents on that. But regardless of that, we also come to find out, even if all the Holy Knights, in a sense, were to work together at this moment to fight the 10 Commandments, they would be fucked. It's game over. Like, they still can't fight the 10 Commandments. That just goes to show you the power level of the 10 Commandments. Because Merlin did a brief assessment, saying if the 7 deadly sins were all here, and we had the backing of the Holy Knights backing us and helping us out against the 10 Commandments, we still could not beat them. That's what Merlin says. Goes to show you how strong of a threat these 10 Commandments, 10 people, 10 demons, are compared to the entire kingdom. So, yeah, that's crazy. It's really fucking crazy to see how that was revealed in this chapter. And with that, too, you have to wonder, I mean, they must get incredibly stronger to be able to even go up against them. So, of course, Meliodas is going to have to get his power back. After what we found out in the flashback a couple chapters back, of course, Meliodas was a lot stronger than we thought to be able to do what he did to Fraudrin. Now, another thing I do need to point out, too, as well, the thing was with this chapter, you had it to where Arthur and Elizabeth are going to be trying to unlock their powers. And I like that. I'm liking the direction of that. That is some very, very good news. That's some very fucking good news. Because if you don't understand why that's good news with Arthur and Elizabeth, no, not Arthur, actually. I knew Arthur would get upgraded because he's been foreshadowed. But to see Elizabeth taking the initiative to want to get stronger and get better, and having to where Merlin's like, we need to unlock your powers, that gets me hyped and hope for the future of Elizabeth. Because Elizabeth, she's like the backup support healer of the series, and she's proven that she's not entirely useless. She has proven that time and time again. And with her ability about to be unlocked, Merlin's trying to unlock it, that's going to show that Elizabeth's going to have some really good roles later on in the future to this series. I'm looking forward to seeing where Nakaba-sensei takes that. I hope it goes down a really good path with Elizabeth as a character, and Arthur's going to be hot. We already know that. He is fighting Hendrickson without really using any abilities. And he wasn't even at his full potential. It was his first fight. It was his first fight, too, so you got to remember that. So that's about it, what I have to say about this chapter. A very good chapter. Very, very, very good chapter. Oh, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. So, yeah, this was a great way to top this day off. Taizai greatness. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.